What's going on, guys? The SSN back again with another video, and this time today we're just going to be doing a quick preview of the Miami Dolphins matchup tomorrow late afternoon against the New York Jets. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Before we get into the meat of the video, I just want to say thank you for all the support, guys. The channel is really growing fast. So guys, if you want to join the squad and you want to help grow the channel, definitely feel free to subscribe down below and hit that bell icon for notifications so you can get up to date with whenever we're releasing all the videos that we have on the channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the matchup. So before we get into the actives and the inactives thus far, let's go ahead and just talk real quick about the Jets season and then the Dolphins season. I want to keep this video relatively short, somewhere right around 10 minutes long. So I'm just going to give my quick overall thought on both teams. So let's go ahead and start first with the Jets. So the Jets from the beginning of the season, I feel like had some significant expectation from their fan base and other fan bases as well to see some sort of growth, some sort of improvement in the positive direction, especially with this draft and getting GM Joe Douglas in and making a lot of changes to the team. I was definitely expecting from my side of things, I was expecting the Jets to be a much more competitive team this year than they've shown so far. Before the season started, and obviously with all the stuff going on in the world and players opting out, that's out of anybody's control. So you can't blame that on Joe Douglas or the team or Gase or anything like that. You can't control if someone like CJ Mosley says, I'm going to sit this year. But even with that aside, when you look at the Jets team on paper, they have a pretty good team. Now, it's not the best, but it's also not the worst. They've got good young pieces. You have Sam Darnold, you have Quinnen Williams. You've drafted good pieces too. Obviously like guys like Mekhi Becton. They had a lot of pieces. And then in the beginning of the year, also having Jamal Adams, CJ Mosley, Le'Veon Bell. This team really on paper looked like it was coming together to be something pretty competitive in the future. And it looked like they were really kind of just laying that foundation to be very competitive in the AFC East, who is now wide open since Tom Brady left the Patriots, according to everybody. So the Jets thus far, as I said, I feel like they were setting themselves up for this image of we're really laying the groundwork for more success in the future. That all has really fallen really flat on its face, and for a number of reasons, but the majority of those reasons I think can all be kind of trailed back to Adam Gase and his just absolute lack of understanding how to run a football team. So the Jets have really underperformed to the tune of the 29th offense in the league and the 27th defense in the league. So certainly not the road that they wanted to be down through the first 5 games of the season this year, but it's where they are. Definitely not one of the best teams in the league. They're sitting right now, if the season ended today, they would have the number 1 overall pick. So that's what we're looking at in our competitor and our opponent in the New York Jets. So let's real quickly then flip over and talk about the Dolphins. So the Dolphins this year, in my opinion, and this is just my personal opinion, I know plenty of people disagree with me, and that's totally fine, but in my personal opinion, from what I have watched, and I've watched every snap of every game so far that the Dolphins have played, this team is much more competitive than it was last year, offensively and defensively. Now, regardless of what I have said in past videos about the defense really being the reason behind us losing games, even with that aside, the fact that we've only given up 21 points to significantly good teams. Top 5 teams, in my opinion. I think Seattle is a top 5 team. I think that at the end of the year, Buffalo will probably be a top 5 team. So we've faced some real competitors, and the defense has kept the game relatively competitive, kept us relatively close. Now, could get better. We're ranked right now as the 20th defense in the league. We are below average, but we are not one of the worst anymore. We're not ranked 30th or 31st like we have been over the last handful of years, really towards the bottom of the pack. So the Dolphins are taking steps in the right direction. It's just a matter of all the pieces coming together and really just Let's just get it all in the right direction. I don't know if it's coaching that's kind of holding us back a little bit, if it's player personnel, or maybe just the scheme. And I've talked about this in previous videos as well. I don't know how well the Dolphins player personnel defensively matches up with the 3-4 scheme that we play. I just don't see it as a successful scheme for the team that we have, for the guys that we have defensively. But it is what it is. They are the coaches, and I just watch the game. So that's why I'm not making the decisions for the Dolphins. So defense aside, our offense has taken insanely huge steps forward, all really revolving around this new and improved and giantly upgraded offensive line that we have. In the beginning, after we kind of exited the draft and exited free agency, and just before the time of what would have been OTAs and all that stuff, I was really expecting this offensive line for Miami to be just absolutely horrendous. Just with, 4 new starting faces, 2 of them being rookies. I didn't have any confidence that this offensive line was going to get on the field, especially after we found out no preseason, no OTAs, really limited training camps. I especially thought at that point, there is no way that this offensive line comes out and successfully pass blocks and run blocks. They have proven me wrong to a pretty far extent. The pass blocking has been phenomenal. I've been extremely proud and surprised and happy with the pass blocking. The run blocking, though, needs tons of improvement. So that's what we need to focus on offensively. But regardless of all that, guys, we have the 16th ranked offense in the NFL. I'm very, very happy about that. We're taking steps in the right direction. So that is what you look at when you see the Dolphins, and that's what you look at when you see the Jets. So let's go ahead and match them up real quick. Let's take a look at the actives and inactives. So right now for the New York Jets, you've got Brashad Perryman as a questionable. You have Quinnen Williams as a questionable, and he has also been the center of a lot of rumors that the Jets may be willing to field some trade offers for him. That's super surprising to me because Quinnen Williams is very, very talented and extremely young. I think he's only like 21 or 22 at the very oldest. This guy has so much potential, but potentially fielding trade offers for Quinnen Williams. Doubtful is Mekhi Becton with that injury, and then also Darnold, who will likely not play with the injury after that pretty tough sack that he took a few games ago. So that is what the Jets are looking like. They are pretty banged up right now. And then also for the Dolphins, let's look at that. We have Shaq Lawson questionable. We have Durham Smythe questionable, and also Kyle Van Noy questionable. And then also, the obvious ones, guys like Austin Jackson will be out for quite a while. But aside from that, guys, the Dolphins are relatively healthy. We got back Byron Jones, which was great, and I think we were able to see that last week against San Francisco. As soon as Byron Jones was back in that game, was back in, the swing of things with the Dolphins, regularly taking snaps on defense, it really, the defensive secondary did their job a ton better. And so I think that really shows the impact that Byron Jones makes on this defensive secondary. So that was very, very good to see. So let's talk real quick, and this is going to be really brief, about the Jets against the Dolphins. I think, my personal opinion, I might be wrong. I hope that I'm not. But I think that the Dolphins are absolutely going to work the Jets tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I hope that I'm right, like I said. But the one thing that you have to consider whenever you're talking about the Dolphins versus the Jets, Bills, or Patriots, either of those 3 teams, because they are in our division, and especially the Jets, because we have a huge rivalry with New York, you can really never count out the Jets. Banged up, horrible record, terrible team, terrible coach, does not matter, because it's the Jets against the Dolphins. It's the same concept as Florida versus Florida State. Regardless of how bad Florida State might be, they actually might beat the Gators because it's just that kind of rivalry. So the Dolphins against the Jets, I would expect and hope that the Dolphins handle this game pretty easily and we come away with a relatively significant win in terms of the point difference. But at the same time, you cannot count out the Jets when we're playing them because it's just that rivalry. It's the nature of how they play us. So I would expect that with, probably not having Darnold, probably not having their left tackle, having their backup quarterback potentially not Quinnen Williams, potentially not Brashad Perriman, and then also the fact that they just released Le'Veon Bell, who was signed by the Kansas City Chiefs, I would just expect that this Jets team won't be able to keep up. I think on either end of the ball, the defense should not be able to keep up with our offense, especially with how well we've been playing lately. And then on the flip side, their offense should not be able to do much of anything against our defense, especially if our boys on the defensive line are able to get after the quarterback like they were last week. Because last week we were absolutely, we were giving them such a hard time. San Francisco, such a hard time. No time to maneuver the pocket or anything like that. So if we can follow through with that performance and, put up just a similar feel, a similar look to this game, I think that we come away with an even bigger win than we did over San Francisco, just because at the time, San Francisco was a better team than what the Jets look like right now. So that is what I think. I think the Dolphins come away with a win. If they do not, I might lose my marbles, because the Dolphins, they can't go out and be competitive with some of the better teams in the league, absolutely wipe the floor with the previous year's Super Bowl attendee, and then lose to the worst team in the league. That cannot happen. So I am speaking it into existence. The Dolphins are going to win this game tomorrow, because if they don't, I might actually freak out. So I think the Dolphins win. I think they win by a pretty large number. I am thinking that it will be somewhere right around 34-7. That would be my guess. I don't think the Jets offense is going to be able to put up any more than maybe a touchdown and a field goal. I don't see it happening, especially with a backup quarterback, depleted team, no receivers. I don't see it happening, especially no Le'Veon Bell now. So, and the way that Adam Gase runs his system. We all know about that as Dolphins fans. So, guys, I'm thinking, it's my guess. I think 34-7 will probably be the end result for the Dolphins. I am hoping that I'm right. I better be right. And I would like to know what you guys think down below. So please leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you see the Dolphins winning this game? What do you see the score being at the end of the day? And guys, do you have anything that I missed that you want to talk about? If so, leave your thoughts, leave your comments, all that good stuff down below. And I appreciate you guys stopping by, checking out the video, and I will definitely be back at it again tomorrow with the post-game and a pre-game as well for our matchup against the Jets. So, guys, I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for stopping by. Enjoy your weekend, and as always, fins up.